All right, so today we're going to talk about dividing polynomials, section 6.3. Again, last week we talked about adding and subtracting polynomials, and then we talked about multiplying polynomials, and now we're into the process of dividing polynomials. All right, so always just going through the same process of add, subtract, multiply, now divide. When you think about it, what is division the opposite of? Multiplication. Division is the opposite of multiplication. If you can think of today as that right there, it will help you out a lot. Okay. Vocab. There's one vocab term. It's what's called synthetic division. Synthetic division is a shorthand method of dividing by a linear binomial of the form x minus a by writing only the coefficients of the polynomials. Now, we all know what the coefficients are, right? What's a coefficient?
The name of the first number.
The number in the term, right? So, for example, here, like the coefficients were 1, 0, -7, and 6. Well, 1 comes from here. 0 comes because it's 0x squared. We'll talk about that later. And then there's the 7 and there's the 6. So those are my coefficients there. All right. And again, synthetic division, we'll learn that second. First thing we're going to talk about, though, is long division. There it is. Think back when you were in elementary school. Remember doing long division? Okay, I'm just going to give you an arbitrary number. Okay, let's say I give you the number, 728, and I say we're going to divide that by 2. We all know how we divide, right? You say, how many times is 2 going to 7? And then don't you multiply back, right? And you subtract the 6, right? Then you say, how many times is, subtract it, and you get 1. And you bring down the 8. Okay, how many times is 2 going to 12 now? 6, right? And then you multiply back, subtract 12. Bring down the 8, and you get 4, right? Through 64. Guess what? It's the same process. Here's the difference. I'm going to divide by my linear term out front here. So I'm going to think of it this way. How many times does 2x go into 6x squared? Now again, how many times does 2x go into 6x squared? I have to think of reverse multiplication. I'm thinking of division, right? So 2x goes into 3x squared, or 6x squared, 3x times. Does everybody see why it's 3x? Yeah. 2 goes into 6 3 times. X goes into x squared x times, so I get 3x. So then I multiply back. 3x times 2x, 3x times -1, and that's where I get my subtraction here. I'm going to subtract those terms. Then I bring everything down. I have 4x plus 8. So now, what'd you say, Drew? Because I'm going to subtract it. Remember down here, I'm going to subtract it. So I'm going to subtract. Okay. So that subtraction means I'm going to change it. So basically, I'm going to make this a positive 3x now. And that's where I get the 4x. Okay, now I'm down here at the bottom, or step 2. So now how many times does 2x go into 4x? 2 times. Right? Because again, I'm thinking reverse multiplication. So then I multiply back. 2 times 2x, 2 times -1. I subtract down here, and I have a 10. How many times does 2x go into 10? Can x go into 10 at all? No. Does x go into 10? Can I take an x out of a 10? No, that's what gets what's called my remainder. That's what's going to get what's called my remainder. And there I have my answer then. 3x plus 2 plus 10 over 2x minus 1. Now, where does this 2x minus 1 come from? It's what I'm dividing. So my remainder always goes over what I'm dividing, basically. Okay? So again, it's a lot like your long division. Okay? It's a lot like your long division or problem. It's just in a polynomial sense.
So you just do them one at a time?
Yep, one at a time.
But you would do the first number first, then the second number, and then combine?
Always just do the linear term. You're always just going to divide by the linear term, the first one. Oh, you mean which one are you talking about here?
The very first set.
Yes. Yep. So let's look at the first one here, number 1. I have 4x squared plus 7x plus 6 divided by x plus 2. So I want to divide. I'm going to see how many times does x go into 4x squared. So how many times does x go into 4x squared? Not 4, but it goes in 4x times. Does everybody see that? Does everybody agree 4x times x is 4x squared? So if I were to divide an x out, I get 4x, right? Okay, great. So now I'm going to multiply back. 4x times x and 4x times 2. So that's what gets me 4x squared plus 8x. And then I subtract, so I'm going to change my signs. 4x squared minus 4x squared cancels out. 7x minus 8x gets me negative x, and I bring the 6 down. Okay. Now I'm on to the next one here. How many times is x going to negative x? Negative 1. Why is it negative 1? Because if I take an x out, what am I left with there? Just a negative 1. Okay, now I'm going to multiply back. What's negative 1 times x?
Negative x.
Negative x. What's negative 1 times 2? Negative 2. And now I'm going to switch signs. So what's negative x plus x? That cancels. What's 6 plus 2? 8. Can x go into 8 now? No, so that's going to be my remainder. So when I have nothing else left over, that's my remainder.
Now go over your original equation, which is x plus 2.
Oops. So I'm going to say 4x minus 1 plus 8 over x plus 2.
So that'll be your answer right there.
And there's your answer right there. And we are dividing. All right, so let's try another one here. Number 2. I have 2x squared plus 9x plus 9 divided by x plus 4. So remember, my x, my linear term, that's my divisor there. So how many times is x going to go into 2x squared? 2x, right? Yeah, nice job. So it's going to give me 2x. Now, does everybody agree with that? Why is that? Because 2x times x is 2x squared, right? So that's good. So now I'm going to multiply back. 2x times x. Now I'm going to take 2x times 4. So I have 2x squared, 8x, and then I'm going to subtract. I'm going to change signs. Cancels out. 9x minus 8x is?
1x.
And I bring my 9 down. Great. Now I'm bringing them down. Now I'm going to divide again. How many times is x going to x? One time. I multiply back. So I get x and a 4. Then I change signs, so I'm going to subtract. So what's 9 minus 4? Can x go into 5 at all?
No.
No, so that's going to be my remainder. Okay, so I'm going to say plus 5 over x plus 4. And there's your answer. Again, do we see the similarities to this in long division? There should see some similarities. It's a similar process. Is it maybe a little bit tougher? Yes, because we're talking about variables, and you have to think of it's not just a number you're getting some variables too. All right, let's try number 3 here. X squared plus 6x plus 8 divided by x plus 4. So I need to set it up now.
X plus
So which one's going to go if I were to say, quote unquote, inside the house here?
x.
Yep, x squared plus 6x plus 8, right? And then x plus 4 goes on the outside. Great. So now I have my divisor here. How many times is x going to x squared? How many? X. Just like 1x or just x, right? So I get x. And then I'm going to multiply back. What's x times x? X times 4. 4x. And then I subtract, so I change signs. So I have 2x plus 8. How many times is x going to 2x now? 2. And then I multiply back. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 4 is 8.
So it cancels out.
So I have 0. So what's my remainder here?
0.
I don't have a remainder, right? So guess what my answer is?
2x plus 2. Or x plus 2.
Just x plus 2 is my answer. Yep, x plus 2 is my answer. Now, let's think about that here, right? Now, we know how to divide, right? Let's say, for example, I said, oh, I don't know, 20 divided by 2. 20 divided by 2, we all know is what? 10. So what's that mean? Does that mean 2 times 10 is 20? Right? Well, if I were to take x plus 4, and take that times x plus 2, you know what I'd get? I'd get that answer right there. Okay, so again, division is just reverse multiplication. Or inverse multiplication. Let's try number 4 when it comes up here. There it is. So x cubed plus 3x squared minus 6x minus 7 divided by x plus 4. So I think about it here. I'm going to write it in. Ooh, that's a lot. X cubed plus 3x squared minus 6x minus 7 divided by x plus 4. Okay. How many times is x going to x cubed? X what? Squared, right? Nice job. So I get x squared, and then I'm going to multiply back. X squared times x is x cubed. X squared times 4 is 4x squared. And then I subtract. So I get negative x squared, and I bring down my other terms. Minus 6x minus 7. How many times is x going to negative x squared times? Remember, you got to think in terms of variables here. So x times what would give me negative x squared? Negative x. Nice job. So I get negative x. I multiply back. So I get negative x squared. Then I get a negative 4x. And then I switch signs. That gives me negative 2x minus 7. How many times is x going to negative 2x times? Negative 2. Multiply back. Change my signs. I get 1. Can x go into 1 at all? Anybody, can x go into 1? So what's that going to be? That's going to be my
Remainder.
That's my remainder. So we get plus 1 over x plus 4. Nice job. Okay. Try number 5 on your own here. Take a couple seconds to try this one on your own. Alright, so let's look at this here. If you were to divide this, you would have to put 2x squared minus 19x plus 24 on the inside and x minus 8 on the outside. I divide, x goes into 2x squared 2x times. Multiply back, giving me 2x squared minus 16x. And then I change signs. So that gives me negative 3x. Bring down the 24. X goes into negative 3x, negative 3 times. Multiply back. And then I change signs. It all cancels out. My answer is just going to be 2x minus 3.
What would you need this for?
So that's a long division there. Next we have is what's called synthetic division. Now synthetic division is kind of a little bit shorter. Okay. When the divisor is in the form x minus a, you can use synthetic division to divide. Now synthetic division takes the coefficients. Now remember what coefficients are. What were they again? The numbers in front of the variables, right? So the coefficients here were like 2, negative 1, and negative 10. So take 2, negative 1, negative 10 there. But then I'm going to take my divisor. My divisor this time is going to be what's opposite inside here. So it says x minus 3. So what's opposite of negative 3? Positive 3. Okay. Yeah, so it's going to be 3. And now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring my first one down. So I'm going to start off by bringing the first coefficient down. It's going to be a 2. And then bring it down. And then I multiply, get my next one. What's 3 times 2? 6. And then I'm going to add down. What's negative 1 plus 6? Take 3 times 5 and I get 15. Add down. What's negative 10 plus 5? First, negative 10 plus 15? 5. So I'm left with the numbers 2, 5, and 5. Now, notice I started with x squared up here, right? I started with x squared. So if I pulled out an x, what am I going to start with? I'm going to start with then
X.
so 2x plus 5 plus 5, that's going to be my remainder, over x minus 3. So it's kind of a quicker way to divide using just the coefficients. Okay. So let's look at a problem like that. So number 6. I have 4x squared plus 7x plus 10 divided by x plus 2. Notice I have my coefficients here. Did we see my coefficients? 4, 7, 10. Brought the coefficients down. Now this says x plus 2 right here. So as what's going to go in the box is going to be a negative 2. It's going to be opposite. Alright. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the first number down. That's going to be a 4. And then I multiply. Negative 2 times 4 gets me negative 8. What's negative 2 times 4? Negative 8. And then I add down. What's 7 and negative 8? Anybody? 7 and negative 8? Negative 1. And then I'm going to multiply again. What's negative 2 times negative 1? Anybody? 2. What's 10? And then I add down. What's 10 and 2? 12. Now again, I started with x squared, so I'm going to go 1x lower. So 4x minus 1 plus 12 over x plus 2. And that's synthetic division. So it goes a little bit quicker, kind of. Let's try another one. So 7. I have 2x squared minus 6x minus 12 divided by x minus 5. So 5 would be the ones in the box there, correct. So it's going to be opposite of that. It says x minus 5, so it's going to be positive 5. So a equals 5. Notice I have my coefficients down here. 2, negative 6, negative 12. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the first one down. So that's going to be a 2. And then I'm going to multiply with 5 times 2. Negative 6 and 10 is? 5 times 4 is? 12 or negative 12 and 20 is? Again, I started with x squared, so my answer is going to start with x. So it's going to be 2x plus 4 plus 8 over x minus 5. All right, nice work. Let's try another one here. So number 8. I have 5x cubed minus 6x squared plus 4x minus 1 divided by x minus 3. So what's going to be the number that goes in the box out front? A what? A 3. Nice job. And then I bring down my coefficients. So I have 5, negative 6, 4, negative 1. Now I'm going to help you start off. What's the first thing I'm going to do when I do synthetic division? I'm going to bring this first number down. So I have a 5. And then I multiply, and I get, what'd you say? 15. Yep. Then I get 9. So 3 times 9 is? 4 and 27 is? What's 4 and 27? 31. 3 times 31 is? 3 times 31, anybody? 93. Negative 1, 93 is? 92. Now I start with x cubed here, so what's my answer going to start with? What's 1 less than x cubed? X squared. So I have 5x squared plus 9x plus 31 plus 92 over x minus 3. And there's your answer right there. Is synthetic or long division easier?
Long division.
You get a little bit of both, always. Always get a little bit of both. Now, last problem we're going to do. And you want to pay attention to this one because it is a test question. I'm going to do this by synthetic division, right? Okay, so let's start this off. What's going to go in the box? Negative 4, right? Great. So now I use my coefficients here, right? Okay, great. What's my first coefficient? What's my second coefficient? It is not negative 13. It is not positive 13 either. What is my second coefficient going to be? What do you notice about my x's here? What did you say it's going to be? There's no x squared. So what's the coefficient for the no x squared? 0. That's like saying x cubed plus 0x squared minus 13x plus 12. I need to have that space holder of my 0 there. That space holder needs to be there. Yeah, so I get 1, 0, negative 13, and 12. Okay. Now, using the synthetic division, work this one out. Yeah, so if you work this one out, you do negative 4 times 1. You get negative 4. 0, negative 4 is negative 4. Multiply again. Negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. Negative 13 and 16 is 3. Multiply again, I get negative 12. So I have 0. So will I have a remainder here, McCoolidge?
No.
Nope. So I have x squared minus 4x plus 3. And that's my answer there because there's no remainder. Nice job. And here's your assignment.